Welcome to my Tacoma's build breakdown. I don't typically film this kind of video, but I have been getting a lot of questions about the truck, and I just want to give it a yearly update every year to kind of keep track of what's been done on the truck, and for myself and also for the people that follow me that are interested in what's done to the truck. I got the truck with the Fox Factory Race Series, I believe, on all four corners, and the truck already had 150,000 miles, and I believe the shocks were used on there for at least 50,000 miles. I kept the Fox Factory Race Series shocks in the front, stock everything, lower control arm, has the Dirt King upper control arm, which also came with the truck when I bought it. They're both pretty beat up now. Besides that, the front suspension is pretty stock, just same as when I picked it up. Like, it's coilover and some upper control arms. That's pretty much it. Let's move on to the wheels and tires. As a self-proclaimed TE fanboy, I had to go with some Volk Racing T37s. These are the X version, which I prefer. The new versions are called the XT, which has, I believe, thicker spokes. They have the engraving on the outer rim. They don't have the spoke engraving, so the spokes are all plain. And they have more color options, more sizing options, but I do believe the T37X is the best looking TE in the off-roading scene. However, the sad part about the T37X is that they don't come in other sizes other than 16s, I believe. They are a -20 offset, and I am running a 1.25 spacer, so the truck is relatively wide compared to stock. Besides from that, you can see kind of all the wheel scratches on there, which is pretty typical if you're doing any sort of off-roading or rock crawling, but that's what it's meant for, you know. They're wheels at the end of the day. I'm going to be using them. And now moving on to the tires, they're pretty beat up. They came with the wheels when I bought them used. I bought it from a pretty cool guy that hooked me up with a decent deal, and they are the Yokohama Geolandar mud terrains. They've been really good so far, and I've been beating the hell out of it, and they've been holding up. I've never had any sort of debeating issues, had any sort of sidewall issues. I've aired down to some pretty low PSI for not running V-logs, and these tires have never really let me down. So they're good tires. I can't complain. They came with the wheels when I bought them, so have really not much to complain. Now moving on to the rear suspension, I have done a lot more than the front since I just left the front kind of how it is. So with the spacer still being the same and the wheel offset being the same, they are the same width. I do have the Archive shock relocation kit, which includes the higher shock mounts, and it has the kind of beefed up hammer hangers out in back. I also have a Deaver Stage 1 leaf pack that's paired up with the kit, and some 14-inch smooth body shocks from Locked Off-Road. I got all of this for a really good deal on Facebook from someone who was selling their truck. So I just kind of got everything together and got lucky. But if I were to buy it brand new, I would pick the 12-inch smoothies instead of the 14 smoothies, because unless if you're going Chevy 63 Springs, you will not be able to mount the 14-inch shocks at a normal height. So I would strongly recommend going with 12-inch if you want some more clearance on the back of your axle I also have a hydraulic bump stop from Lock Off-Road that really helps settle the car, especially with leaf springs. It gets pretty bouncy at times. That as a bump stop, and they're adjustable, so you can always adjust your bumps. Besides from that, I have a bumper from Outgear Solutions. Since we are talking about armor, there aren't much that I put on the truck, just the rock sliders, which are really important in my opinion, and the front engine skid, which are aluminum, as well as the rear bumper, which I mentioned earlier. I do feel like I do have some transfer case and transmission skid on the way. However, I do need to relocate my exhaust by my crossmember to make it more of a flat belly. Besides from that, that's as far as the armor goes. I think the rock sliders are a must, and you can really tell here that my alignment's really messed up. You can tell the camber and the toe out a little bit here, but I think I will try to get one more trip out of the front suspension, and I should have some upgrades on the way. So that would be very exciting. And for headlights, I just have some OE replacements. They're not exactly OEM. We have a fake TRD Pro Grill. Believe I got this from Alibaba or something. And then I just painted. I attempted to paint match my color on my chrome grill. Didn't come out too good, but it's a front grill, so it's going to get messed up anyways. Haven't really spent a lot of time on cosmetics. However, as many of you know, it will get messed up. It's just the way it is. So I have on 488 re-gear right now. I wish I would have went 529 if I knew I was going to go over 35s in the future. However, for second gen automatic owners, I think 488 is a good point where you won't be screaming on the highway with 35s, and you still have a decent amount of torque on the trails and low speed stuff to have fun with. I do have the factory e-locker that came with the truck that still works great, and I added a E10 e-locker in the front, so it is dual e-locked, and honestly I've had no complaints about it so far. People say that e-lockers are usually weaker, where sometimes you don't know when it engages, but to me I try not to use it on the trails when I don't need to, but when I do need it, it's never failed me. I love running 16-inch wheels because the sidewalls just look so much fatter than 17 or 18s. So I had a goal to use the 16-inch TEs, B-lock them, run 37s, which is going to be really hard because that size is super rare. I believe there are only 2 manufacturers that makes that size. And they're also pretty expensive compared to other brands, and the technology on one of the brands which is pretty old, and the other brand just doesn't carry many stock in the US. So it was a struggle, but I was so close to making it work. But then I realized the front suspension kit that I'm going to go with isn't compatible with 16-inch wheels. So that whole idea was scratched off, and just decided to save me time, money, and struggle to find tires for 16s and just go to 17-inch wheels. I've decided on that already. It breaks my heart to one day get rid of these wheels. However, it is going to my good friend Nate when I do decide to go 17s. So I don't feel too bad about it. But it was still sad to realize that I can't run 16s anymore once I go 37s or higher. And that's my whole dilemma with the wheels and tire setup. So hopefully we'll run some bigger tires soon. As soon as my new suspension gets put on, we'll go from there. So interior wise, I didn't do much at all. Sorry, the truck is super dirty from the last trip. I haven't had a chance to clean it inside yet. However, there's not really any changes beside the locker switch for the front, and as well as a aux beam switch panel that my good friend Nate also helped me install, which is hooked up to the ditch lights. I don't have much lighting, you might have noticed. I don't personally have a lot of lights. I'm not doing some crazy Baja running at night. I barely even go on the trails at night. Usually when I am doing some trails at night, they are typically some fire roads, which I don't really need 1,000 lumens of whatever all around me. But when I do go trails at night, it's usually with my friends. I'm out there camping, so I don't typically need crazy amount of lights. So I'd rather spend my money elsewhere. But yeah, there are definitely more plans for this truck in the future. A lot of parts are on its way, since that we just have Black Friday as well. And I'm very excited for making this video next year and looking back at it to see what has all been changed on the truck. But so far, this is where the truck is at. And yeah, stay tuned for more.
Mic check. I used to cop a lot, but never cop no drop. Hold mics like ponytails tight and bobble ops. Stop, stick around, come through and dig the sound of the fly brown 6060 psycho who throws a dick around. Bound to go 3 plat, came to destroy rap. It's an intricate plot of a b-boy strap. Fem stack cats get kidnapped. Then release a statement to the press, let the rest know who did that. Metal fist terrorists, claim responsibility. Broken household name usually set in hostility. What is MF, you silly? I like to take men's to the end for 2 milli. Do-do-do-do-do, that's an audio daily double. Rappers need to fall off just to save me the trouble. Yo, watch your own back, came in and go out alone, black. Stay in the zone, turn H2O to cognac. On doomsday, ever since the womb till I'm back where my brother went, that's what my tumor say. Right above my government Dumoulin, either unmarked or engraved, hey, who's to say? I wrote this one in BCDCO section. If you don't believe me, go get bagged and checked in. Cell number 17, I'm under the top bunk. I say this not to be mean, was bad luck a pop junk. Pop the trunk on C-Cypher leave him left scraped, God forbid. If ain't no escape, blame MF tape. Definition super villain, a killer who loved children, one who is well skilled in destruction as well as building. While Sidney Sheldon teaches the trife.